If you really want to live your life, if you really want to just live seriously in your life, you've got to learn to just cancel all the noise out on what people are saying, because ultimately it doesn't really fucking matter what people say, what they're doing. Their life is nothing to do with yours. Like, your life is your life. Whatever they do, whatever they've achieved, it's not relevant to you. And it's so important to not give a fuck, and learning to not give a fuck, and doing everything you can do for yourself so you remain unbothered. Once you realise that it's never been a race against anybody else, it's never been it's never been a competition with anybody else. It's always been about you and what you can do for yourself. Because ultimately, you are living for yourself. Like, nobody's getting up for you. Nobody's doing shit for you. Nobody is gonna, buy a nice car, a nice house, or for you. Like, nobody's gonna go to work so you can just spend lots of money. It's not like that. So, I have this I don't owe anybody anything mentality, and if I do get to a great point in my life where I am more financially stable, better living, it'll be down to me. It won't be down to anybody else. And it's so important to remember that, you are your own provider. Like, if you don't get up and go on with your day, you don't go out because of bad experiences, you're really just letting other people control how you are in a day. You're really just letting other people control you, basically, because it whatever happens, people don't know you. Nobody knows you except the people who do. So whatever they think about you does not matter, because what's the chances you'll see them again? And even if you do, they're irrelevant. They're just NPCs, basically, just doing their business, but their life has got nothing to do with yours. This is why at this stage of my life I'm taking myself very seriously, adopting a different mindset, just really changing myself from the inside. And it's also showing on the outside, because my mindset on even diet nowadays, like, I am a minimalist when it comes down to food. I can eat, in the morning and not have to eat until 7 p.m. at night. And just by cutting out all the shit that I used to have, all the sugars and all the shitty foods. Don't get me wrong, sometimes I'll still eat a frigging chocolate orange now and again, but I don't eat it all the time. Just by having more discipline, I feel more free within myself, and I feel better. Purely, just drinking water, tea or coffee, eating single ingredient foods like you've got your chicken and your potatoes and, all that kind of good nutritional stuff. But it's not just about that. It's about everything. I'm going to be the first to admit I spend way too much time on my phone. I need to cut that out. I need to cut out my screen time. Spending your time looking at a screen is no good for you at all, your mental health or your eyes. Life is for living. And it doesn't matter, it really does not matter when you start to realise that, shit, I need to do more. I'm 26 right now, I'm soon to be 27. And this right now, 27 is going to be completely a serious year. No slacking, no making excuses. Even 27, it's not that old. But the closer you get to 30, the more you realise, shit, I'm not going to have this health, this physical health, like how we do in my 20s forever. Once you get to your 30s, that's when your health starts to decline a bit. You have to do more for yourself. You have to take yourself more seriously, physically, if you still want to remain, if you want to still feel good, perform good, And even at 30, it's not necessarily old. This idea of what people consider old and the milestones and when you should do this and you should do that, it's all just a bunch of bollocks. Because you can just be starting a career at 30 and just have had just plain industrial warehouse jobs throughout your time up until now. Like, you might have just only just found what you want to do. You might have had just mostly warehouse retail jobs in your 20s. It still doesn't matter. Like, still, at least you've worked. Self-comparison is the thief of joy, because whilst you're comparing yourself, you don't know what they've been through, and it's not a matter of, well, they're just more gifted than I am, and the sooner you realise that life is not a race or a competition, it's purely you against you. Believe it or not, you will have features and qualities that other people admire, and they might be envious of as well. Like, it's not all about, it's not always about who's the best, and all this fucking rivalry bollocks. It's really about comparing yourself who you were yesterday, last year, last month, last week, and really trying to become a better person by reflecting what can I take out, what can I add in. It's all about just experimenting and finding out what works for you. We can all learn, even at like past 25. Like, we all have something called neuroplasticity, which means that you can strengthen your mind, but you have to focus more compared to the people who are younger than you. But you can change the way you think, your internal wiring in your brain. Just by all these methods of just really knuckling down and just being positive. Even your self-talk contributes to your neuroplasticity, your self-belief. It's all relevant. Once you change the internal structure of your mind and just internally, the world really is your oyster, and the world is yours. But it all stems back from learning not to give a fuck. Don't feel like you owe anything to anybody, because you don't. You don't owe anything to anyone. You owe yourself everything. You owe yourself a good life. You owe yourself a good frame of mind and a good healthy body. You owe yourself all this. But it's not anybody else's job to give it to you. They can give you the advice, they can give you support and encouragement, but that's all good. That's all well said and done. But it's now up to you to implement that. But it's all about yourself. It's not about anybody else.